Okay guys, this is how to get the vinyl on your seat flat. I personally had a lot of problems doing this because apparently I'm not so good at this. But it's pretty easy once you play around with it and you figure out what not to do. So I'll show you a way that worked pretty well for me. First thing is to get the highest quality marine vinyl you can find. You want the one-way stretch stuff, and all that simply means is in one direction, like see there, it's not stretching much at all, and in the other direction it stretches more. That's what the one-way stretch means. And you want it so that you want it cut so that the stretch portion, so that it stretches more horizontally across the seat, and then longitudinally or from tip to tail, it doesn't stretch much. That way it just makes it a lot easier to lay it on the seat and get it flat. One of the other things you can do that will help assist with this is to do a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes max on like a medium setting. Obviously everybody's dryer is going to be a little bit different, but you can pop it in the dryer for 2 to 3 minutes and just get it warm, not hot. And that will obviously increase the pliability of the vinyl a little bit more and help you again get it flat. Because the key that I've been told by several professionals who do this, and one of our board guys who's done a lot of upholstery, professional upholstery ungas, is that you want to glue down the top first to get it flat, and then work on the sides and tucking under, and obviously in our case with the brick pans, steel pans, is putting the rivets in and the clips. So what I'm going to show you right here now is just putting it down on the top portion and getting it flat, and I'll probably, depending on how this goes, probably do a part B to show you how to get it with the clips. But really that's not going to be too terribly difficult. The main thing, or at least the challenges that I've had, is to get it flat on the seat and get it smooth so that it really looks like an OEM seat. So what you need again is the marine vinyl, the piece I've got, the dimensions I've decided I like as far as giving me enough room to grip and tug and whatnot. This one is 25 inches wide with the stretch portion being in that direction, width, and then it's about 38 inches long, and I find that that's been a good size to do this. And then I've got a dozen clamps, little ones, cheap ones. The downside of the cheap ones is you really got to be careful of putting them just on the tip of the pan when you clamp the vinyl in, because if you get it up in the foam, it's going to dig in and it's going to tear your vinyl. And then I've got 3 clamps for the front, so I guess grand total that would be 15 clamps, and that's really all you need, because the key is, as you'll see, this isn't going to take long once we actually do it, and once I do it, is where you put them. And you don't want to go nuts, and you shouldn't have to go nuts stretching and yanking on it if you get it in the right positions. And that's really what this video is about, just to show you that process so you don't have to do all the trial and error stuff that I did. So anyway, we're just going to crank this out here. It won't take long, and you will see. So got your seat there, get your vinyl centered over it, give yourself a couple of inches over the edge here. Get it equal. It doesn't have to be perfect, but evenly distributed side to side. And first area I like to start in is just right under here, right where the end of the seat pan ends and where the cutout is for our handles on our 85s. This is an 85 seat pan for you guys. I'm sure it's, I'm not sure, I know it's different for the Mark IIs, but it's going to be basically the same thing. So just get it down. Get your clip in, just get it right on the edge. There, right where it starts to go around the corner, so to speak, and only put your clamp just barely onto the pan, and then turn your pan over, a little bit of traction, and again, if this were to be actually warmer, and it's just a practice sheet I have, but it's going to be really easy to do it as far as the pliability of the vinyl, and a little bit of traction there, and take the clamp on the same location on the other part of the pan. So there you've got one each side to side, and then we're just going to go back and forth doing this, and you'll see how quickly it can be done. And so the next part is just a little bit in, right, basically where the crease is, because that's the tough part, and that's the part where you want to make sure that it is flat or it really does not look good. So we're right a little bit past where the crease is for the cutout. And just again on the edge. And then you're going to have to adjust just a little bit back, but then see, and you can see I'm not really using that much. I'm not going nuts with pulling it. You don't need to. And if you were to actually have this glued down for real, if you had your contact cement, your spray adhesive underneath here, you're going to put it down, flatten it out with your hands, and it's going to be ready to go in a relatively short period of time. So there you can see that's pretty well flat. So the next, same deal, just go back to the other side. The next one is basically where the main crease is for the transition down into the front part of the saddle. So a little bit of traction, clip right on the edge, just flip her over. Same deal, same location, right where the crease is. A little bit more traction. You're just not nuts, but just a little bit more, because this is where the hump starts to head down. And you just want to give yourself, make sure it's really nice. So there you can see, those are just the first three, right? And it's nice and flat. And you don't have to worry about the back for now, because that's going to be when you're actually tucking it under and riveting it. But as you can see, it just folds right under, and that's why you don't want, that's why you want the nose to tail part of the vinyl to be the non-stretch part, because you don't want to pull this. You don't want to pull this up. But you can see how that's flat. And then we're just going to keep going with 3 more. So then the next one is right basically where the bottom, where it starts to flatten out. Clamp it, flip it, same deal on the other side. You can see that's pretty good. And again, if you have the adhesive down, this is where you can just flatten it out with your hand, and you're going to be good to go, as long as you let your contact cement dry out enough before you put the vinyl down. So the next one is about halfway down now, the front portion of the saddle. Flip it, same location on the other side. And the last one for the sides is pretty much right up front, where the starts to transition into the front part of the saddle. Flip it, same location, other side. So those are all 12, 6 on each side. And as you can see, that's nice and flat in both the transitions, and all we got left to do is the front, and it's really not that bad. You'll see you can get it done with just 2 more clamps. So probably about halfway up, the horizontal part, right about here. Get it nice and flattened out, and then a clamp. And again, make sure it's really only on the edge, because because this is where the foam is, and if you put the clamp deeper in, it's going to go into the foam, and it's going to dig into your vinyl and probably tear it, as I found out the hard way as well. Same deal, other side, about halfway up. After you've flattened it out. And then the last one is going to be right at 12 o'clock. And there it is, guys. 15 clamps, all flat. Not that hard once you've gone through the pain of figuring out how not to do it. And like I said, I'll probably do part B for actually pulling it over and putting the clamps on, or putting the guys on and riveting it down. But that's not going to be very hard. So there it is, guys.